The atheist claim, no God, no problem. Atheism at its core is the belief that there is no God. This seems straightforward enough. However, the implications of this belief run deep, touching upon the very foundations of morality, truth, and meaning. Atheists often claim that these concepts can exist without a divine lawgiver. They argue that human reason and experience are sufficient guides for navigating life's complexities. But is this really the case? Can a worldview devoid of a higher power truly account for the depth and richness of human existence? Many atheists point to the problem of suffering in the world as evidence against a benevolent God. They argue that a loving God would not allow such pain and injustice. Instead, they propose that the universe is a product of chance and natural processes. Morality, they suggest, is a human construct, evolving over time to promote social harmony and cooperation. Truth, they claim, is relative and subjective, based on individual perspectives and interpretations. But can such a materialistic worldview truly satisfy the deepest longings of the human heart? Can it provide a solid foundation for objective morality, enduring truth, and lasting meaning? Let us delve deeper into these questions and examine the claims of atheism more closely. For as we shall see, the answers have profound implications for how we live our lives and understand our place in the cosmos. The foundation of truth, built on rock or sand. Every society operates on a set of assumed truths. These truths guide our laws, shape our relationships, and inform our understanding of the world. But where do these truths come from? If there is no God, no ultimate source of truth, then are we left with a foundation built on shifting sand? Atheism, in its rejection of a transcendent realm, often embraces a materialistic view of reality. In this view, all that exists is the physical universe, governed by impersonal laws. Truth then becomes relative, subjective, and ultimately arbitrary. What is true for one person may not be true for another. There is no ultimate standard, no objective measure by which to judge competing claims. This relativistic view of truth, however, has troubling implications. If truth is merely a matter of perspective, then how can we condemn injustice, oppression, or cruelty? On what basis can we claim that one set of values is superior to another? If there is no objective moral law, then morality becomes a matter of personal preference, as fluid and changeable as the tides. The search for a solid foundation for truth and morality is not merely an intellectual exercise, it has real-world consequences. For if we cannot agree on basic truths, if we have no shared moral compass, then how can we hope to build a just and compassionate society? The stakes, as we can see, are incredibly high. The challenge of morality, relative or universal. One of the most significant challenges for atheism is explaining the basis of morality. If there is no God, no divine lawgiver, then where do our moral intuitions come from? Are they merely social constructs, products of our evolutionary history, or is there a deeper, more objective source? Moral relativism, a common position among atheists, argues that moral values are relative to individuals or cultures. What is considered right in one society may be considered wrong in another. There are no universal moral truths, only different cultural norms and perspectives. However, this view of morality faces serious challenges. It fails to account for our innate sense of right and wrong, a sense that transcends cultural boundaries. Throughout history, people from diverse backgrounds have condemned acts of murder, theft, and betrayal as inherently wrong. This suggests that there may be universal moral principles, even if their application varies across cultures. Furthermore, if morality is truly relative, then how can we condemn atrocities like genocide or slavery? If there is no objective standard of morality, then on what basis can we judge the actions of others or even ourselves? Moral relativism, when taken to its logical conclusion, leads to a moral abyss where anything goes and no one can be held accountable for their actions. Evolution and morality. Survival of the fittest or fittest for survival? Some atheists attempt to ground morality in evolutionary biology. They argue that altruism, cooperation, and other moral behaviors evolved as survival mechanisms. By working together, our ancestors were more likely to survive and pass on their genes. While it is true that evolution has shaped our physical and cognitive abilities, it is a far leap to claim that it can fully account for the complexities of human morality. Evolution operates on the principle of survival of the fittest, favoring traits that increase an organism's chances of reproduction. Morality, however, often calls us to act in ways that go beyond self-interest, even to the point of self-sacrifice. Furthermore, if morality is merely a product of natural selection, then it is difficult to see how it could have any objective validity. Moral values would simply be those behaviors that happen to be advantageous for survival and reproduction at a particular time and place. They would have no inherent worth or dignity. The attempt to derive morality from evolution ultimately fails to account for the depth and richness of human ethical experience. While evolution may have played a role in shaping some aspects of our social behavior, it cannot provide a complete explanation for the human capacity for love, compassion, and self-sacrifice. A universe from nothing, the limits of naturalistic explanation. One of the most fundamental questions facing humanity is the origin of the universe. Where did everything come from? How did a universe governed by laws and teeming with life arise from nothing? Atheism, in its rejection of a creator God, must offer a plausible explanation for the existence of the cosmos. The prevailing naturalistic explanation for the universe's origin is the Big Bang theory. This theory posits that the universe began as an incredibly hot, dense point and has been expanding and cooling ever since. While the Big Bang theory is supported by a great deal of scientific evidence, it does not answer the ultimate question of where the initial singularity came from or what caused it to expand. Furthermore, the laws of physics themselves, which govern the behavior of the universe, are not explained by the Big Bang. Where did these laws come from? How did they come to be so finely tuned to allow for the existence of stars, galaxies, and life itself? These are questions that naturalistic explanations struggle to answer. The origin of life presents another significant challenge for atheism. How did life arise from non-living matter? Despite decades of research, scientists have yet to create life in a laboratory, even under carefully controlled conditions. The spontaneous generation of life from a primordial soup remains a highly improbable event, with no convincing naturalistic explanation. The more we discover about the universe and the intricate workings of life, the more difficult it becomes to explain its origin and complexity through purely naturalistic processes. The sheer improbability of these events points towards the need for a cause outside of the material universe itself. A signature in the cell, evidence for intelligent design. In recent years, the theory of intelligent design, or ID, has emerged as a credible alternative to purely naturalistic explanations for the origin of life and the universe. ID theorists argue that certain features of the natural world are best explained by an intelligent cause, rather than an undirected process like natural selection. One of the key pieces of evidence cited by ID proponents is the digital information encoded in DNA. DNA, the molecule that carries the genetic instructions for all living organisms, contains a vast amount of information. This information is not simply complex, but it is also highly specific, like a language or a computer code. Natural processes like chemistry and physics can explain the origin of the building blocks of DNA, such as nucleotides. However, they cannot account for the origin of the information content of DNA, which is both aperiodic and complex. Just as a random assortment of letters does not produce a meaningful sentence, so too a random arrangement of nucleotides does not produce functional proteins or a living cell. The specified complexity of DNA points towards an intelligent source, capable of designing and assembling the intricate machinery of life. Just as we would not attribute the information content of a book to the ink and paper on which it is printed, so too we should not attribute the information content of DNA to mere chance and necessity. The whispers of design fine-tuning and the universe's complexity. Beyond the origin of life, the fine-tuning of the universe provides further evidence for intelligent design. The laws and constants of physics, the fundamental parameters that govern the universe, are set within an incredibly narrow range that allows for the existence of stars, galaxies, and life itself. Even slight variations in these values would render the universe lifeless. For example, the strength of gravity, the electromagnetic force, and the nuclear forces are all finely tuned to an astonishing degree. If any of these forces were slightly stronger or weaker, stars would not form, or they would burn out too quickly to support life. The ratio of the mass of a proton to an electron, the cosmological constant, and many other parameters also exhibit this remarkable fine-tuning. The probability of these parameters being randomly set to values that permit life is astronomically small. Some physicists have compared it to winning the lottery every day for billions of years. This fine-tuning strongly suggests that the universe is not the product of blind chance, but rather the result of deliberate design. The complexity and interdependence of living organisms also point towards the work of an intelligent agent. From the intricate workings of a single cell to the complex ecosystems that sustain life on Earth, the natural world exhibits a level of sophistication that defies naturalistic explanations. The limits of reason: can we fathom the unfathomable? Atheists often place great faith in human reason as the ultimate arbiter of truth. They argue that through reason and scientific inquiry, we can unlock the secrets of the universe and understand our place within it. However, there are limits to what human reason can achieve, especially when it comes to ultimate questions about the origin of the universe, the nature of consciousness, and the existence of God. The human mind, while capable of great things, is still finite. We are limited by our senses, our experiences, and our cognitive abilities. There may be aspects of reality that are simply beyond our comprehension, truths that transcend our current understanding. To assume that human reason is the ultimate measure of all things is to fall into the trap of scientism, the belief that science is the only valid form of knowledge. Scientism fails to recognize the limitations of the scientific method, which is well suited for studying the natural world, but ill-equipped to answer metaphysical questions. Furthermore, reason itself does not operate in a vacuum. Our beliefs, assumptions, and worldview all influence how we interpret evidence and arrive at conclusions. Even the most rigorous scientific inquiry is not immune to bias, presuppositions, and the limitations of human understanding. A leap of faith: atheism's unsatisfying answers. Ultimately, atheism requires a leap of faith just as much as any religion. To believe that the universe, with all its complexity and wonder, arose from nothing, guided by no intelligence or purpose, requires a tremendous amount of faith. It requires us to believe that the laws of physics just happen to be perfectly fine-tuned for life, that consciousness emerged from unconscious matter, and that morality is a mere illusion. While atheism may offer a sense of intellectual satisfaction to some, it often leaves a void in the human heart. It struggles to provide satisfying answers to life's big questions. Why are we here? What is the meaning of life? What happens after we die? The atheist's answers to these questions are often bleak and unfulfilling. We are here by chance, they say. Life has no inherent meaning or purpose. Death is the end of our existence. While some may find solace in this materialistic view of reality, it leaves many others feeling lost and alone, adrift in a cold and indifferent universe. The human spirit yearns for something more, something beyond the material world. We long for purpose, for meaning, for a connection to something greater than ourselves. Atheism, in its denial of the transcendent, ultimately falls short of satisfying these deep human longings. Beyond the material, finding meaning in a designed universe. If the evidence points towards an intelligent designer, if the universe is not a cosmic accident but a creation, then what does that mean for us? It means that we are not alone, that our lives have purpose and meaning, and that there is more to reality than meets the eye. The belief in a creator God does not negate the importance of reason or science. In fact, it was a belief in a rational God that paved the way for the scientific revolution. The pioneers of modern science, such as Copernicus, Kepler and Newton, were driven by a deep conviction that the universe was the product of a rational mind and therefore comprehensible to the human intellect. Believing in a designed universe does not mean abandoning critical thinking or accepting blind faith. It means recognizing that there are limits to human understanding, that there are mysteries beyond our current grasp. It means approaching the world with a sense of wonder and awe, recognizing the beauty, complexity and elegance of the natural world as a testament to the creativity and intelligence of its designer. In the end, the choice between atheism and belief in a higher power is a deeply personal one. It is a choice that should be made after careful consideration of the evidence, both scientific and philosophical. But it is also a choice that has profound implications for how we live our lives, how we treat others, and how we view our place in the grand tapestry of the cosmos.